Dear students, this is a very, very important figure. Please do internalize it. Here, first thing, what you have to take into consideration is, number one, where to locate ethics. Where to locate ethics. Say, for example, this is our individual. An individual does something. He uses certain means to achieve certain ends. Means and ends are different. End is the result. End is the outcome. End is the consequence. If the end is good, if the end is beneficial, then consequentially say that that is ethical. On the other hand, deontologists say that deon means duty. If you follow your duty, if you follow the rules, then you are ethical. Means here they are stressing on means, right? This is one in consequence, second in duty or rules, deontology, and the third is with respect to the individual freedom, liberty, or in simple words, freedom. The libertarians advocate that we should have the right to liberty, because why we should have, why according to libertarians, why we should have right to liberty? Anyone? Why we should have right to liberty? Why we should have freedom? Why we should have freedom to do whatever we want? Anyone? Yes, very good. Because we own ourselves. Pragna has given the answer. We own ourselves. This is the modern thought. Coming to the same person, in ancient world, they used to stress on virtues. Virtues simply means character of a person. They say that, say for example, there is a person who is honest. Honest is a virtue. If he is honest, he will do acts. The acts, his deeds, everything will be based on honesty. He won't be honest calculating the results. He is honest not just because it maximizes utility or the consequences are good. He is honest not because it is his duty. Honesty is present in him. It's an inherent character. That is the fourth one, virtuous. Then next one and the recent one, contractual theory. It says that we live in a society. When we live in a society, we have got some contract with one another, with the society. So this contract has to be upheld. It doesn't care about whether it's honest, whether it's your duty, or it's not bothered about the consequences. Right? This is the crux of it. So one, locating ethics in output or the consequence is consequentialism. One, locating ethics in means. What are the means here? Duties or the rules is deontology. One, which says that we should have the right to liberty, libertarians. One, which says that a moral person or an ethical person is one who is virtuous, who is having a good character. Right? We have got a message. So do they check whether contract itself is either ethical or not? Yes, so that's a good question. Here the thing is what they are saying to the like these are the what we can say exceptions we can say. These are in fact what you are asking. We'll discuss that. But the thing is first you give attention to contract. Whether the contract is fair, whether the means are fair, whether the results are fair. No. To begin with, they are just giving importance to contract. Right? So any doubt with respect to this diagram? If you have got any doubt, please let me know. The mic is open. You can ask any question. Or if the things are clear, shall we move forward? Are the things clear? I'll explain again. Don't worry. Okay, right. The most accepted view is locating ethics in results or ends. The other is locating in means. The other is virtues. Other is in rights. Other in contracts. One which locates ethics in ends, consequences, or results is known as consequentialism. The representative or utilitarianism is a consequentialist theory. It is given by Jeremy Bentham. Here, what is that utility? What is that result? What is that outcome they are stressing on? They are stressing on happiness, maximizing happiness for the whole society. Then what is happiness? Happiness is equal to pleasure minus pain. Why they are giving more importance or taking utility as a criteria? Because pain and pleasure are our sovereign masters. Whatever we do is to increase pleasure and decrease pain. Why maximizing happiness is a supreme ethical standard according to Bentham? Because as I told, they are our sovereign masters. We took up the example of like how the Christians were thrown to lion room, the city of happiness, the lifeboat case, and the objections we saw. After that, we concluded that there is one thought which says that utilitarianism is just nonsense. Like it just says it is wrong. The reasons were as mentioned. Then what is the supreme ethical standard? According to them, supreme ethical standard is one which treats people as an end and which follow some rules which are universally accepted. That is deontology. Deon means duty. The true representative of deontology or categorical imperative is one of the deontologist theories given by Immanuel Kant. Then coming to libertarianism. Libertarianism, the main crux is fundamental right to liberty. That is ethics for them. Why it is ethics for them? Because we own ourselves. The central claim is that we own ourselves and everything what we have. And it claims that our liberty should be restricted only when it is coming in the way of others' liberty. They favor unrestricted market not for efficiency but for human freedom. In market, all will be having maximum freedom to do whatever they want. And they want minimal state. Minimal state means state which does bare minimum activities. On the other hand, welfare state is one which protects and promotes even the economic and social well-being of the citizens. In this direction, they oppose paternalism and also they oppose moral legislation and also they oppose redistribution of income because they are against the fundamental right to liberty. Right? The most important among all in the present context is redistributive justice by Robert Nozick. He says that if there is justice in initial holding and justice in transfer, then there can be inequality in society with respect to economic aspects. If there are past injustice. If there are past injustice, they have to be redressed, right? They have to be redressed because there was a past injustice, not for bringing equality, right? According to libertarianism, taxation is equal to forced labor is equal to slavery. Ownership, self-ownership. We own ourselves, so we should have freedom to choice. We should have freedom of choice. If I own my body, my life, my person, I should be free to do whatever I want with them, provided I don't harm others. Self-ownership is the foundation of individual rights, the idea that I belong to myself, not to the state or political community. The law should not punish, according to libertarians, any adultery, prostitution, homosexuality, selling of kidneys, selling of even both kidneys. Right to suicide should be there, and also right to assisted suicide should also be there, along with consensual cannibalism. These are the libertarian thoughts. Now, moving forward to virtual things. Virtues. What are virtues? Virtues. Let me explain this with a simple example of price gougers. What is this price gougers? What is this? Here, think of a situation. Say, for example, you are in some hill station or something like that. You are trapped here because of some earthquake, rains, all these things. So, somehow you are trapped here. No one can come here because like it is a disaster prone place, and also there are heavy rains, the roads are cut off for many reasons. Here, some take advantage of the situation. See here, everything is cut off. So here, food is limited, water is limited, everything is limited. Say for example, you are a tourist. Normally they used to charge 100 rupees. Now they are saying 10,000 rupees. Are you getting me? This is price gouging. Let me elaborate this. Price gouging refers to when someone, generally retailers and others, take advantage of spikes in demand. So market works on two forces, that is demand and supply. When there is spike, like sudden increase in demand, and supply is in fact less. So generally in market, the value will increase. But here, taking advantage of this situation, they will be charging exorbitant, very high price for the necessities. Say for example, one chapati is equal to 20 rupees. After like disaster, they will be charging one chapati for 200 rupees, sometimes 2000 rupees. It is inevitable, right? Often after the natural disaster and other state emergencies. Those who do this are known as price gougers. The terminology, like, like it's important because like one word, instead of telling all these stories, just can say price gougers. We are in the process of explaining what virtues are. The opposite of virtue is vice. What is that? Greed is a vice. Why greed is a vice? Greed is a vice, a bad way of being, a bad way of living, especially when it takes people oblivious. Oblivious means not concerned about what is happening around one. They're not concerned about what is happening around. They're oblivious. They're oblivious to the sufferings of the others. Why greed is a vice? Because there is a disaster. They are taking advantage of the situation. Instead of helping, say for example, okay, I have 10 kgs of food grains. Please take it. Now, somehow like no transportation, you take 1 kg. Instead of doing that, They are not heeding to the sufferings of other people. They are not concerned what is happening around. So greed is a vice. More than a personal vice, it is at odds to the civil virtues. It is not only bad. It is not only bad from the personal point of view. We can say leave it. It's his personal matter because it is opposite at odds to the social virtues also, societal virtues. In times of trouble, a good society pulls together. If others are not having any kind person in any good society, they all come together. They pull together rather than press for maximum advantage. People look out for one another. A society in which people exploit their neighbors for financial gain in times of crisis is not a good society. Excessive greed is therefore a vice that a society should discourage. Did you get the meaning of vice? So, here we have taken greed as a vice. What is the crux here? See, we humans live in society. We have got culture. We have got social interaction. That is the basis, in fact. The basis of society is social behavior and social interaction. In this, if you are taking advantage of somebody's miseries, do you think society can prosper? Do you think such society will be happy? No. Right? Virtues help in the flourishing of the society's culture. Vices are, on the other hand, opposite. Okay. Virtue. What is virtue? Virtue means conformity to a standard of right. Conformity to a standard of right or morality. These are very, very subjective. Don't take the literal meanings and don't just confuse comparing the things. These are very subjective things. You have to internalize and you have to conceptualize the things. Virtue means a moral excellence. Moral excellence means ethically excellent, following ethical standards. Behavior showing high moral standards. They all mean the one and the same. Right? Virtuous ethics. According to virtuous ethics, truly moral person is a virtuous person. So here, where they are locating ethics, they are locating ethics in the individual. They say that a truly ethical person is one who is having virtues. Say, for example, honesty, courage. If these virtues are present in this individual, then that is enough. That is enough, according to them, because other things are incidental. Say, for example, think that I'm a very compassionate person, very compassionate person. Do you think I'll be helping a person who will be greatly, like who is badly in need of help? Is badly in need of help, and I have the resources. Message me. Do you think I'm a very compassionate? Compassionate means like it's a very, very higher virtue. It is about empathy. It is about sympathy. Sympathy means just pity. Empathy means putting yourself in other shoes. Compassion means after knowing what are their problems, trying to solve that. Then, like, okay, not me. Think that you are a compassionate person. One person is badly in need. You don't know that person. Will you help him or not? Yes or no? Right? So that is the crux of virtuous ethics. Let me elaborate this. The things will be clear to you. Virtue can be defined as excellence of character. Excellence of character. What is character? The mental and moral qualities distinctive of an individual, group, or any nation. Sorry. Character is one which is distinctive of that person. Character of a nation. Character of a group. This is distinctive to that individual. Distinctive of an individual means, say for example, if there are two individuals, the character of this individual will be different from the character of this individual because they're indistinguishable. They are inherent in that person. There may be 1,000 people. The character of each individual will be different. In that, you have got both mental and moral qualities. Right? Moving forward, virtues can be defined as an excellence of character which leads one to act in a morally praiseworthy manner. Let me take the example, like how virtuous theory works and why these people are behind virtuous theory. Kindness. Imagine, you have to imagine. But think of a person. Imagine a person, or remember a person who is kind. You have come across the most kind person you have come across in your life. A person who possesses the virtue of kindness will behave kindly towards others. Why he behave kindly? Not because it maximizes the happiness of others. Not because he has to be kind. That is his duty. He is kind because this inherent quality, the thing, is present in him. He will act, he will not act kindly, mainly because, he thinks that it is his duty. Means deontology, not because of deontology. Or because he calculates that acting kindly will maximize the total utility of society. Utilitarianism, because of that. He acts kindly because he possesses the virtue of kindness. Right? According to virtuous ethics, a truly moral person is virtuous person. Truly moral person is a virtuous person. He has internalized the virtues and has a moral character. Self-explanatory. Let me elaborate the things. Now, let me take the things with a different orientation. Virtuous ethics focuses on the inherent character. The inherent character. What you mean by inherent character? Means qualities that are considered permanent, inseparable, or that cannot be separated from the essential character. Right? Means inherent, inalienable things in a person. Inseparable. Virtuous ethics teach that an action is right if and only if is an action that a virtuous person would do. According to virtuous ethics, think that this is such situation. In this situation, what a virtuous person does is ethical. Say, for example, this is something like battlefield. Courage is a virtue. What a courageous person does here is virtue. Whatever he does, right? Example of a person who propounds these things is Plato. We'll elaborate the things about Plato in detail. Before that, just have a glance of what Plato says. According to him, the fundamental virtues are sorry, wisdom. Wisdom means that which is based on reason, valor or courage, mental or moral strength to withstand difficulties, temperance, discipline, biological appetites, justice, harmonious functioning of all the three. Right? Just have a look. We'll discuss these things in detail when we discuss about moral thinkers and philosophers. Right? This is about virtues. Right? Any doubt, dear students? If you have got any doubts, please let me know. Any doubt? Please ping me if you have got any doubt or if the things are clear. Okay. Right. We'll move forward. Okay. One important thing, in fact, I thought of telling you all guys in the beginning of the class itself, but somehow I didn't tell because I forgot. Very important. Please concentrate here. So, do all virtuous person take same decisions on a particular situation? Very good question. This aspect they have not dealt and they have not told. What they have said is, whatever, say for example, I am a courageous person. They think that whatever this person does in a situation is ethical. So, for others to be called ethical, if they do that, then they are ethical. It's very subjective. It's very subjective. So, very important aspect. Dear students, you all want to succeed. You all want to succeed. There is no doubt in that. You have got an appetite. You have got a killing instinct for these things. But one important secret, which is overlooked by all, I'll be telling you now. That is your sitting capacity. Whether you agree with me or not, for the rest of your life, you will be sitting in chair for nearly 10 hours, whether you like it or not. If you become officer or anything like that. Those of you who are not sitting on the chair on a consistent basis, or those of you who always jump into bed very often after eating, lie down on the bed, watching anything, maybe YouTube, Facebook, or anything by lying down, sleeping. So please don't do that. You will be like your efficiency will go like bottom rock. Sit in a chair. Whatever you want to do on the chair. If you just can sit 10 hours, success is yours. See, like in fact, I made a video also to show you. We have got a library. There nearly like 30 people have taken admission. This is a paid library. Sometimes not even one single person will be there. Not even single person. And the average strength is nearly 10 only. These 20 people, they won't read. Because the difficulty is they cannot sit on the chair. You have to sit on the chair. And also the posture, all these things are important. See, give due attention. See, we have got only 24 hours. For the rest of your life, if you can sit 10 hours, where your efficiency is very high, success is yours. Don't do anything lying down. The only time you should be going to bed is when you are sleeping. You can relax. You can see the phone on, like sitting on the chair. So develop a good posture. If you are reading, always sit on the chair and read. Right? That's it. Very important. Those of you who are always lying down on the bed, please leave that for today. Take my advice. Like day by day, your efficiency will decrease almost. Like if you are lying on the bed, what will be the next thing? Your mind will be saying to take rest. Right? Okay. Okay. I, do you agree with me or not, students? Those who strongly agree, not just agree. Just give me the yes or no, thumbs up. Okay, great. So don't ever sleep, read. In Kannada, they have a saying, ಎದ್ದು ಓದುವುದು ಎದ್ದು ಓದುವುದು ವಿದ್ಯೆಗಾಗಿ ಬಿದ್ದು ಓದುವುದು ನಿದ್ದೆಗಾಗಿ. So what is the meaning of this is, those who are lying down, and reading, they are reading for sleeping. Those who are sitting and reading, those people are reading for vidya, means knowledge. Right? Hego translation aitu. Okay. Moving forward, contract. So here the main important theory, especially when we are living in society, because as we are living in a society, there has to be some things which guide individuals, because all individuals are unique, one of its kind. In fact, nothing in this world is identical. I'm not saying similar. Nothing in this world is identical. Say, for example, this is an atom. Within the atom, you will have electrons. Even the electrons are not identical. They are similar, definitely. Why I said is, each individual is unique. Then there has to be some common basis for interaction. So that what they call as contract. Without contract, we will be in the state of nature. Let me elaborate this. Social contract theory, the important personality is Thomas Hobbes. According to him, society without rules is living in the state of nature. I have explained this, so I go little fast. Life in the state of nature will be Darwinian, where the strongest survive and the weak perish. Social contract theory. What is that social contract theory? This needs little elaboration. Social. What is the meaning of social? What I have given you? What is the meaning of social? Wherever the term social comes, what has to reverberate in your mind? What has to come to your mind? Social. Just take that as society. Right? Social justice. So how you have to read that? Society. Justice in society. Social influence means how society influence. Right? So wherever it comes, social. Even with respect to social science, means what they are dealing? They are dealing with society. Right? Clear? So by this way, like your understanding and your interpretation will become easy. Clear? Social means society. Individuals have consented to surrender some of their freedoms and submit to the authority in exchange of protection of their remaining rights or maintenance of social order. A police person, he comes and asks you why you are not wearing helmet. This is against your freedom. You are not allowed to do whatever you want, isn't it? But you have given consent. that I'll be living in this society. I'll follow certain rules and regulations of this society. Thereby, I'll be surrendering some of my freedom. In exchange, I'll be getting other benefits. Why social contract? Because a society in the state of nature would be without comfort and necessities. There won't be leisure. There won't be security. There will be constant fear. Because of that, there won't be any commerce, trade and commerce. There won't flourish anything known as culture. Because there has to be learned, transferred, accepted. If you are constantly living in fear, everything you will be acting will be just to save yourself first. You'll be acting on your instincts, not with respect to your values. So if all these things are there, there won't be any language or. So the answer for this is social contract theory. The solution is social contract. That is, it is in everyone's interest to enforce rules that ensure safety and security for everyone, even the weakest. Think if this social contract would have not been there, nearly 80 to 90% of the population would have not got the mate, like spouse, to marry, because the stronger will be taking all. Question has come. Thomas Hobbes. Hey, don't worry. It's just now what I am saying. All these things are just to make the point clear with respect to the concept of ethics. We'll explain these things in detail later. Don't worry. Right? Okay. The same thing here. But the problem here is that in social contract theory, the government or the person, here we have taken as government, the person who is managing these things, he may become all powerful. Say here, it gives governments too much power to make laws under the guise of protecting public. In the guise of protecting public, they will come up with so difficult laws that people cannot follow. Contract can be unfair for some. For example, the poor do not get same benefits of the contract. Here comes like whether the contract themselves are ethical or not. That we'll discuss later. Right. So these are the things where people say that ethics is located. See, these are the approaches which you have to use in your ethics, case studies, in all the questions. All the thinkers, all the philosophers, all the thought, all logic revolves around these concepts. Right? Coming to this, why I'm saying is ethics and human interference, especially this portion, is one of the portions where you don't have material. Really, I have searched lot. In fact, the syllabus is very, very beautiful. He has taken from a very standard book. I don't know, like I'm not getting, in fact, I have searched many. If someone gets the exact headings in any book, standard book, not the material given, please do take that. Ethics is a very, very important and subjective thing. In that, the first chapter or the concept relating to ethics and human interference are very subjective and also materialist, not at all available. Now you have to tell me what is the essence of ethics in human action. What is the essence of ethics in human action? Let me elaborate the things here, make the things clear. These are the three concepts. See this one. Essence of ethics in human action. What do you understand by that? Anyone? What is the essence? See how subjective this is. Here, ethics is subjective. What are human actions are subjective. And ethics in human action, and in that, what is the essence? They are not asking, in fact, here, of what is the essence of ethics, because it gives two dimensions. If they would have asked essence of ethics, then it would have had two. One is as concerning to human actions, and another has a subject of study. Subject of study. But they have asked essence of ethics in human action. See, this is very simple, but we cannot comprehend. So, like what I expect is, like in Monday's class, you should tell me what is the ethics, what is the essence of ethics. Okay, moving forward. Essence of ethics in this, if you take just this, you'll be having two dimensions. That is, essence of ethics in human action, essence of ethics as a subject of study. Okay. After thorough searching, thorough deliberation, what I concluded is, you can write this. What is the essence of ethics means? That which is given by second as the definition we have discussed. And one more important thing is, they have mentioned the essence of ethics to a greater extent, with greater clarity, in ethics and values in public governance. This is a report in collaboration with UNDP, which has been brought by Department of Person and Training. Right? According to them, essence of ethics in human actions refers to total well-being of all. What is the essence of ethics? Total well-being of all. Thriving, peaceful, socially just, and environmentally sustainable life for all on the earth is the essence of ethics. Here, so here, this point you won't get anywhere. Please do internalize. I'll be giving the slides according to, you just like if you are writing the examination, just write according to DOPT report. Just like if you can't remember this thing, according to DOPT report, essence of ethics refers to total well-being of all. Number one. Second, thriving, peaceful, socially just, and environmentally sustainable life for all on the earth. This is a very, very value-loaded thing. Let me elaborate this. What is the real meaning? What is it? So, total well-being. Total well-being. Well-being refers to not just existence, not just existence, not just living for the sake of living, living with dignity, living in a society which is just. Let me elaborate this further. Total well-being of all. Well-being refers to the state of being comfortable, healthy, and happy. So, what is well-being? Well-being refers to the state of being comfortable. You should be living a comfortable life. If you are having a healthy life and you are happy, right? So, please internalize these three words. Well-being is equal to comfort, health, and happy. You can make synonyms, acronyms, all these things. Sorry. Article 21 declares that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. See, total well-being, this concept is upheld in the Constitution also. It says that no one should be deprived of his personal liberty, means all should be allowed to do whatever they want. What is the exception? According to the procedure established by law. Right? So, if someone is going against the established laws, then they can curtail the liberty. Say, for example, this is a road. What is the procedure established by law? That one has to go on the left side while you are driving. If he is driving here, no one should question, no one can question. If he is driving in the wrong direction, then they can question, except according to the procedure established by law. Don't confuse with procedure established by law and the due process of law. As a deeper concept, we'll deal with that later. Right? Thriving, peaceful, socially just, and environmentally sustainable life for all. Thriving is equal to prosperous and growing or flourishing. Social justice. What is this social justice? Social means society. Society, justice, fairness. So, what is fairness in society? Social justice is a political or philosophical theory which asserts that there are, dimensions to the concept of justice beyond those embedded in the principle of civil or criminal law, economic supply, and demand or traditional moral framework. Did you get the meaning? Read it again. Please go through these things once. Right? So, the concept of social justice says that you shouldn't decide something as ethical, something as correct, just because they are following the criminal or the civil law. Or you should not take into consideration the things with respect to the market, demand and supply, or the traditional moral framework. There is something which goes beyond that. Are you getting me? There is something which goes beyond the laws, beyond the market. That is social justice. What is that exactly? Social justice tends to focus more on just relations between the groups within the society, as opposed to justice of individual conduct or justice for individual. As we have seen, anything which is having prefix or suffix of social, we have to take that as society. Anything which is done for the welfare of society at the larger level, at the group level, will be preferred, not the individual one. Say, for example, if you take like individual preferences, they will be different. Right? Moving forward, the idea of social justice is that all people should have equal access to wealth, health, well-being, justice, privileges, and opportunities, regardless of their legal, political, economic, and other circumstances. These are self-explanatory. Please go through them. So, like little more elaboration. In fact, these things are not needed, just to have an overview, because these things reverberate throughout. These things I am elaborating with respect to the essence of ethics. Right? The principle of social justice depends on four essential goals. Those are human rights, access, participation, and equality. Here, access means, like, say for example, a government job. All should have the opportunity. Things should be accessible to all. Social justice cannot be achieved without these four principles. Can you think of social justice without human rights? If the goods, material, services are not accessible, think that these two are present, but there is no participation. No. Think that there is participation, but there is no equality. No. Very important concept. For social justice to be present, all these things have to be present. Right? According to UNESCO, what is sustainable? Sustainable living means understanding how our lifestyle choices impact the world around us and finding ways for everyone to live better and light. Applying a people's lens to sustainability in new, timely, and opportunities are created. So here I have just given the definition which is given by sustainable UNESCO. Just go through them. Then the definition with respect to sustainable development. This needs little elaboration because the concept is present in your syllabus. According to UNESCO, in Brundtland Commission report, development that meets, very important, development that meets the needs of the present. For anything to be called as sustainable development, there are in fact two important things. What is that? One, it needs the needs of the present. Second, without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Right? In the name of sustainability, if the present people are not able to meet their needs, then it is not sustainable. Say for example, here, let me clear this. Say for example, fuel, fossil fuel, petrol. This is think that this is the only fuel present. Forget about everything. No solar, or you don't have any other renewable, non-renewable. You don't have any sources of energy. Only petrol is present. But it's a scarce resource. If you are preserving petrol for future generation, and this is making the present generation suffer, then it is not sustainable development. Are you getting me? Here, two things. The present generation also should be happy. They also should meet the needs. At the same time, the things what you are doing should not like hinder the future generation from meeting their needs. Right? Very important concept. Just follow this definition. This is the standard. Don't touch any other definition until and unless you master this. There are four dimensions to sustainable development: society, environment, culture, economy, which are intertwined, not separate. So, in a sustainable development, there are four things which are intertwined to one another, like this. Sorry. Four things. There is a web of the relations. What are these? These four are society, culture, environment, and economy. And they cannot be separated from one another. Sustainability is a paradigm for thinking about the future in which environment, societal, and economic considerations are balanced in the pursuit of an improved quality of life. For example, a prosperous society relies on healthy environment to provide food and resources, safe drinking water, and clean air for existence. Just go through these things. These are just the things I have put from UNESCO website. Right? So these are in-depth things. Just go through no need at this point of time, right? Then coming to the thing which is given in like most of the literatures. In them, the most accepted is with respect to the standards and also studying them. Right? So these are the things which I have taken, like I have given at the essence with respect to second ARC and also DOPT, Department of Personal Training. Now, I'll be dealing with the things which are generally given in most of the books, but not exactly like essence of ethics in human action. No, the title is not there in any book. In the ultimate analysis, ethics is two things. First, standards of right and wrong. Second, study and development of one's ethical standards. Here, we are dealing with the standards first. Second is development of one's own ethical standards. Let me elaborate these things further. Coming to the standards of right and wrong. Ethics refers to well-founded standards of right and wrong that prescribe what human ought to do, usually in terms of rights, obligations, benefits of society, fairness, or specific virtues. What is ethics? Ethics is standards. These standards are in the form or in terms of rights or obligations. And ethics also refers to those standards that impose reasonable obligation to refrain from certain acts like rape, stealing, murder, assault, slander, fraud. Not only that, ethics is all encompassing, all encompassing. In fact, you cannot find any subject, even physics, chemistry, where there is no ethics. Ethical standards includes standards relating to rights, which are the right of life, the right to freedom for justice, the right to privacy. Such ethical standards are adequate standards because they are supported by consistent and well-founded reason. Right to privacy. Don't you think we should have right to privacy? Don't you think privacy is ethical standard? What is your opinion? Till recently, this was not there. A decade before, it was not there. People never thought that phone tapping is against privacy. They thought that, okay, government can tap people's phone. What you are doing in your house, in your bedroom, don't you think that is private affair? You should have right to privacy. These ethical standards, why we are following this? These ethical standards, why we are following? Because they are based on reason. They are based on logic. They are not irrational. If the society has to prosper, these things has to be there. Otherwise, society cannot prosper. Then coming to the second one. Study and the development of one's ethical standards. Why we need to develop? Our feelings, laws, and social norms can deviate from what is ethical. So it is necessary for constant examination of one's standards to ensure that these are reasonable and well-founded. If we don't constantly examine these things, we won't be in line with those. One of the most important reasons is everything is dynamic. The society, the environment, Everything is dynamic. To have a balanced equilibrium, there is a need of studying these things. Ethics is also the means of continuous efforts of studying our own moral beliefs and our moral conduct, and trying to ensure that we and the institution help to shape and live up to the standards that are reasonable and solidly based. Ethics is also the continuous efforts of studying our moral beliefs and our moral conduct and trying to ensure that the people and the institution live up to the standards that are reasonable and firmly to take the same things. So, in the previous thing, we dealt with the standards. That standards in particular, then with respect to the individual, how the standards are put to an individual, what are the things we have to take into consideration. Now, let us see ethics as a subject. Ethics as a subject, the essence of ethics as a subject has two things. One is the scope of the subject, the nature of the subject. To elaborate this thing, let me give an example. The scope of ethics. Just replace ethics by engineering or any other subject. What is the scope of engineering? What is the scope of mechanical engineering? Often, like after 10 plus, 10th after 10th standard, often we get this and often we use this term. There's a huge scope for electronics. There's a huge scope for computers. There's a huge force, something like that. So what do you understand by scope? What is the nature of engineering? Please internalize the word scope and nature. Excuse me. Right, I'm back. Scope and the nature. Here the things are self-explanatory. Please give due attention. If you concentrate, everything will be crystal clear to you. Everything I have put them in on slide. So just go through them. Everything will be crystal clear to you. And I have given the meaning of the difficult terms also wherever needed. Scope of ethics. Scope of ethics means the range of its subject matter. Means what is the range to which it can be? Can it be applicable to all subjects or to certain subjects only? Let me explain this with the example of scope of a subject. Scope of anthropology. What is the scope of anthropology? Scope of anthropology, they say that they study man. They study man from the very prehistoric time. Historic means you have got document. They study from the very beginning to the present. And also, they try to come up with theories for the future also. Anthropologists study people at people at all times and all places. Are you getting the concept here? The scope of anthropology is very broad because it studies people in all times and all places. Scope refers to the range of the subject matter, that is the particular subjects which the ethics deals with. Ethics has a bearing in every discipline, both the humanities and the sciences. Some may think that ethics is not applicable to sciences. ethics is applicable to physics. Do you agree with me or not? Yes or no? Ethics is applicable to physics. Why no? Kavita said like ethics cannot be. Why? Say for example, you are creating, say, atom bomb. Why you are creating atom bomb? Why do people create atom bomb? The use of ethics, don't you think, is there? Live apart art, something like production, producing something. There are many ways of production. One is ethical and another is unethical. Science, atom bomb, can, don't you feel, can be used for destructive purposes? It has to be handled with ethical standards. So in everywhere ethics is there. So why, like most of you, why they are not getting, like they are just thinking that, say for example, Na plus Cl is equal to NaCl. So they are asking where is ethics here? Don't go like, this is very specific on formula. Think chemistry has the whole, biology has the whole. Biology doesn't mean only studying tissues. Tissue culture is also biology. The application part. See, when you are thinking of science, don't think about those formulas only. Think about the other part, application of science, application of chemistry. So it has got bearing on all the humanities and also sciences. In fact, it is impossible to imagine any discipline, systematic inquiry that is not informed by a baseline ethic of respect, worthiness, and honesty. Each person who has reflected on rightness or wrongness of facts or thoughts about justice, courage, or mercy has engaged in ethics. Thus, the scope of ethics is broad and comprehensive. In fact, all encompassing. Any discipline, whether it is science, political science, humanities, anything, all have bearing in ethics. So the scope of ethics is broad and comprehensive. This should be the thing. It should be broad and comprehensive. It should be not, it should be, it is. Then coming to the scope according to John Mackenzie. Till now what I said, like in general, let us see what according to John Mackenzie the scope of ethics. What is the reach of the subject? According to Mackenzie, the scope of ethics includes 4 divisions. They are psychology of moral conscience, sociology of moral principles, theory of moral standards, the application of standards of the moral life. Let me elaborate these things. The psychology of moral conscience. Ethics analyzes desires and will. Ethics analyzes desires and will. It gives a psychological explanation of the moral judgment, because morality of a desire and will largely depends upon the psychological factor. Ethics also keeps in view of the effect of the question of freedom of will upon the moral judgment. Here, the crux, what they are trying to say is, we do things, but in that there are many aspects to consider. In that, the desire and will has to be analyzed. What is desire and will? From where it is coming? Related to our mind, psychological things. So, according to McKenzie, the psychological components are also included. The psychology of moral conscience. Analyzing the differences between man and animals. Ethics deals with voluntary human actions which are objects of judgment. In other words, ethics deals with the voluntary actions of human beings. All these things are subject matter of psychology. Sociology of moral life. According to McKenzie, ethics includes the sociology of moral life. Social customs and traditions largely influence our ethics. You all know that because we have dealt how values, culture, how they develop, how it is not present in non-humans. Hence, ethics deals with the effect of social customs and traditions. Ethics largely depends and it's influenced by our customs, traditions. Theory of moral standards. Here, it simply says that what ought to be. The major concern of ethics is to describe ultimate good or the nature of supreme ideal of human life. Any behavior is measured and declared good or bad, right or wrong by this moral standard. Just go through these things, not that important. I'm making this point clear. Just go through these things. It's because in the syllabus, what they have asked is ethics, essence of ethics in human action. But what we are doing is essence of ethics as a subject matter. That is the reason, like I'm not giving like much explanation. I'm just reading the things. Right. Application of the standards of moral life. This is about practical ethics. In the practical life, the direction from ethics depends upon the nature of that ultimate good, which is followed by some ethical doctrine. So here we have dealt with ethics in two ways. One, human action, and another as a subject of study in the scope and nature. So after this, we have got a thing with respect to nature of ethics. This is also a small topic. Like let us take 10 minutes break and reassemble, and we'll take up the rest of the things. Right? We'll take 10 minutes break and we'll reassemble. And I will explain the gist of the things also. Right? We'll take 10 minutes break. Okay. Yes, students. Now we are dealing with scope of ethics as a subject and also the nature of ethics. Having completed the scope of ethics, just like the literature, what I have given is little difficult. Read it again. There is nothing to bother much about it because it is in fact out of syllabus. But you should know what is ethics as a subject. That is the reason I have given. Like moving forward with the nature of ethics. Ethics is a science of ideals related to human life. It deals with good and bad qualities of human behavior, comprising it to the ideals, comparing it to the ideals. It differentiates between good and bad, right and wrong, evil and virtues, just and unjust, fair and unfair. Ethics is a science of human conduct. Here, one important thing is with respect to the word science. Here, what ethics is trying to do is, ethics is trying to come up, ethics as a subject is trying to make itself as a science with respect to ideals. These ideals are related to what is good, what is bad. In fact, humans are unique. Humans are diverse. It is very, very difficult to have a science, especially with respect to ideals. But ethics as a subject tries. It is a science of human conduct, where it is saying ought to be, should be, you should do these things. If you do these things, life will be better, society will be better. Ethics is a normative science. What do you understand by normative science? Normative science means one which prescribe. Normative, wherever the term comes normative, just remember prescribe, is prescribe or ought to be, should be. Ethics is a normative science. Then what is the nature of normative science? Will give you an idea of what is the nature of ethics. To elaborate that, science is classified into two groups. One is natural or positive science, example, your biology, physics, geology, and another is normative. See here, make the distinction. One is natural, another is normative. Here, it is just explaining the principles, things which are present in nature. The other is normative, has to what should be, what ought to be. Ethics is a normative science. Normative science seeks a standard of value to serve as a measure of what ought to be and a source of rules for its realization. In ethics, we have got set of standards. If you follow those standards, that is ethical. Here, we are trying to establish a science. To establish anything as a science, we need some standards. The basis of ethics is values. So here, we are trying to get those values which make the society a better. The ideal with what ought to be, irrespective of whether the ideal is existing or not, presents the results in ought to be judgments, gives the judgments principles of life. Gives the guiding principles of life, study values, ideals, and standards. Normative science scope is comprehensive as the question of truth, goodness, beauty can arise in almost every act and about every object. In any object, irrespective of the thing, even if you take beauty, goodness, truth, there also there is a thing which is known as standard. That is also in moral lines. So the scope of normative science is all encompassing. Normative science describes the existing fact. Natural. We are coming to the natural sciences. Natural sciences describes the existing facts, but remains only indifferent to their values. Here, say for example, when you are dealing with Na plus Cl, Here they are not including the concept of value. They're indifferent. Means it is not the subject matter of these things at all. Natural science deal with what actually exists, as I explained, formulates all the results in the his judgment. It is the thing, and they are factual. The scope is limited. They study mutual relations between the facts in some particular field. Example, geography, astronomy, physics, zoology, biology. The scope is limited because that is geography means related to geography itself. But the scope of the normative science ought to be sciences is all encompassing. The nature of normative science. Under normative science, logic, ethics, and aesthetics are studied. Very important. See, normative science here, like in science, we have got two. One is natural, and another is normative. In normative, we have got things dealing with logic, ethics, and aesthetics. Aesthetics, say for example, beauty, aesthetic value. They study truth, goodness, and beauty. They determine values of cognition, connotation. Connotation means an inclination, such as instinct, a drive, a wish, a craving to act purposefully, and also feeling in man. So here you can relate it like truth, goodness, and beauty to one another. Logic is science of truth. Ethics is science of ultimate good. Aesthetic is a science of values related to beauty. In normative science, we have got important things relating to logic, ethics, and aesthetics. Logic is the science of truth because it is based on logic. Say, for example, logical reasoning. Let me give you an example. 1 is equal to A, 2 is equal to B, then 3 is equal to what? What is the answer? What is the answer for this? 3 is equal to dash. C. How? 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 Here, this is known as logical reasoning. Logical reasoning. Here, you are using your logic. But in using that, you are not making the things with respect to your whims and fantasies. There is some logic here. Right? And ethics is respect to ultimate good. And aesthetic is a science related to values which are related to beauty. So these are the things. Here, like I feel in fact, I myself feel like the things what we discussed with respect to nature and scope, with respect to the subject of ethics, many things are not that clear. One of the reasons is I am not dealt those things, but I have tried to put them in simple words. It's given in very, very difficult words. So you please go through them. After that, if you get any doubt, you please do ask next in next class. In next class, also I'll just simplify these things once again, and I will explain. Right. Coming to the determinants of ethics. See, please do use your logic, use your reason here. Just your common sense and a simple English. Determinants of ethics in human action. what determines whether something is ethical or not? Please give the answer. What determines whether an action is ethical or not? What are the determinants? This is one of the topic where, in fact, it is given wrong in many books. In many books, it is given wrong. Think, what are the determinants of ethics? Objective. How? Like intention. Okay, then. Like, okay, like Pragna has mentioned, intention. See here, for anything to be called as human action, it has to be intentional. So it has already been there. Suman, objective. What do you mean by objective? What do you mean by objective? He has already read ethics, so he has just put that is not in fact objective, that is object in fact. What do you understand by that? See, please leave everything. Just think object of work should be ethical. Objective. No, not that. Okay, let me make the things clear with the example. Ethics is equal to standards or principles. Right? Ethics, in fact, is a part of values. Values. Right? Here, go back to culture and society. Are values different from society to society or different from culture to culture? Then what about like core values? What about core values? Don't you think these core values are present in all the societies? Universal. Now, please think on these lines. Determinants of ethics in human action. Don't you think we have to take into consideration means and also ends into consideration? Because itself, ethics, we have studied supreme ethical standards. We are locating ethics in ends somewhere with respect to consequentialism. We are locating ethics in means in deontology, in virtuous ethics, in freedom, in libertarianism, in contractual ethics. Think it over. Determinants of ethics in human life. What determine the things with respect to ethics when it comes to human action? Here, one of the mistakes done by all is they once again go to what are human values. That is wrong. See, this is a simple question. You have to answer. What are the determinants of ethics in human action? See, we have dealt with everything almost with respect to ethics. Let me ask you a simple question. Like, number one, culture determines ethics in human actions. Yes or no? Sorry. Culture determines ethics in human actions. Yes or no? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So, can we take culture as the determinants of ethics? Can we take culture as the determinant of ethics? Krishna Nayak is saying no. Why? Or how? Why? Good. Like, if anyone like to speak, please do speak. The mic is open. Why culture is not the determinant? The answer here is, in fact, culture is one of the determinant of ethics. Because some have good culture and some okay. That's not the answer, right? Culture is acting as guidance of ethical behavior. Okay. Sorry. Please, like, you are not thinking, you are not responding properly. See, this is a simple one. What determines anything as ethical in human action? See, this is a human action. What are the parameters which we have to take into consideration to say that this is ethical? That is the question. Like Yashaswini is saying, if culture is determinant, then it becomes ethnocentric. See, like very good, very good. In fact, you are analyzing the things. Here, the concepts are different. Here, the concepts are different. In ethnocentrism, you are judging other things with respect to what are good, what are bad in your society. Here, the concept itself is different. Comparison definitely very good. In fact, you have been trying to like grasp the ethics to a greater extent. Culture determines ethics because values differ from society to society. But there are some things, there are some values which are universal, right? So here your answer should be both. Culture is a determinant with respect to most of the values, and when it comes to universal values, it is same for all. Don't worry, this is a very, very thought-provoking topic. I'll take up this and elaborate the details of the determinants of ethics in our next session. Right? Okay. These are the things. Today, tomorrow we'll be having the tests. So here, like I would like to know, like that test will be subjective, means you have to write essay type. Please tell me like what is the time duration you would like to have? Do you like to have 1 hour test or 2 hours test or the UPSC standard 3-hour test for Saturday and Sunday. For this time only. For next time, 3 hours. Great. Anyone? You want 1 hour test, 2 hour test, or 3 hours? Pragna says 3 hours. Three hours. Okay. Anyone? 2 hours. 3 hours. Suman. 3 hours. Okay. Okay, great. Right. See, all our tests we'll try to have for 3 hours. We'll try to have for 3 hours because this is the standard 3 hours which you will be sitting. In fact, I'll tell you a very important thing. What happens in UPSC examination? Say, for example, today you are having exam. Today, starting we want 1 hour, then we'll move to 3 hours. What do you say with Krishna Naik? Shall we go with 3 hours or we'll start with 1 hour or 2 hours? Those who said 3 hours. We'll have for 3 hours, Krishna Naik. We'll have for 3 hours. But I'll give due consideration. Don't worry. Right? Okay. So now coming to test. How to attend test? Number one, I'll clarify each and everything has to, like how you have to write test. In that, first and foremost, in the app, go to test section. Go to test section. Open that, there will be question. And there will be time also stipulated. As soon as the time is over, like you can't attend the question anymore. That will be the thing. So, how to attend the test? Go to test section and attend the test. In that, you write your answers and post your answers or message your answers to the Telegram. The number I have given 7676 211 367. Anything you have to message here because can we attend test anytime? Yes, you can attend test anytime after 5 o'clock Saturday. After 5 o'clock Saturday test you can attend anytime, and Sunday time you can attend anytime after afternoon. Like I have given a number, Krishna Naik. So many are like getting the message like suspicious activity found. This is some of the mistakes you have made. Say for example, you have used number like 5 in the evening. Say for example, you have used the number XYZ and you have used one phone. After that, you use the same number and you use another phone. Or in other case, it may be other way around. You are using the same phone number, the same phone and two numbers. All the question will be under the cover topics. All the questions you will be able to answer from the things what I have covered. It will be posted in app, right? Okay. Anything?